Chapter 1035. Who else could it be? I had already promised him and he killed me. Jing Tian said gravely. I was still too hasty. I shouldn't have promised him. Right now, I am in a difficult position. I have no choice but to become the emperor. Ah! Martial God let out a long sound, expressing his surprise. Don't here, Scram. You are making me annoyed. Jing Tian shouted out. My son still needs to gain some experience. This is just a small matter. Why is he so flustered? Martial God felt that he indeed needed to calm down, so he slowly walked out of the tent. After seeing his son leave, Jing Tian held onto his forehead. This is too sudden. I am a bit flustered. Martial God, who was absent-minded, walked into his tent unsteadily. Martial God, what happened to you? Muddle-headed? Is it because of me? I am sorry, Martial God. Bai Yu thought that it was because of her that Martial God was scolded by her father. Martial God swallowed his saliva and said in a low voice, Water? Water. Bai Yu, go and get a cup of water for me. Okay. Bai Yu hurriedly poured a cup of water for Martial God, and Martial God drank it all in one gulp. Bai Yu. Martial God raised his head and called out to Bai Yu. Bai Yu was confused. Martial God, don't be like this, you are scaring me. Martial God pressed onto Bai Yu's shoulders and said in a low voice, Bai Yu, you are going to be the crown prince's concubine. Ah. Look at you, it is just a small matter. Why are you flustered? Look at me, I am not flustered at all. Bai Yu sat on the bed with a dizzy feeling, not knowing what happened. Martial God, my head is so dizzy. Martial God directly pressed Bai Yu onto the bed and kissed her sweet lips. After a long time, Martial God said excitedly, Bai Yu, father is going to become the emperor. I am going to be the crown prince, and you are going to be my crown prince's concubine. Ah! Whoa! Before Bai Yu could finish shouting, she was blocked by Martial God. Because Martial God was too excited, he needed to take care of his physical needs. It is not bad to have his wife by his side. Right now, Yi Hua was currently sleeping soundly, and he was completely unaware that Shanghai's side was already in chaos. Even shocking heaven and earth was a little confused. He had to plan properly. The next morning, the weather wasn't bad, the sun was bright and beautiful. Of course, the bright sunlight only referred to the front line of defense. The back line of defense was suffering from the sandstorm. It was really tough on Huang Yun, hiding behind and eating dirt. After waking up, Yi Hua stretched his neck and washed up as if nothing had happened, then went to eat breakfast. Brother, are the dishes suitable? Yi Yuanqing asked happily, waiting for his brother to praise him. However, Yi Hua said faintly, I don't like to eat breakfast. Yi Yuanqing's smile froze on her face. She pouted. She had just woken up early in the morning to cook for her, yet she said such words. However, the dishes are not bad. Looking at his little sister's angry look, Yi Hua felt that she was cute. At this time, if Qingye knew about it, she would definitely not accept it. When we are angry, why do you think we are being unreasonable? When your sister is angry, she is cute. It couldn't be helped. He had been with his wife for too long, and this sister of his had just come out. The novelty was not over yet. Big brother, Imperial Cloud will be holding a meeting later. Oh, let's go and listen to the meeting then. Yi Hua said faintly. Now that everything is settled, all that is left is to wait for the result. Yi Yuanqing nodded her head and said, Big brother, if it's delicious, then finish it all, Yi Hua. After a long while, Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing walked towards the place that Huang Yun arranged for them to meet. Yi Yuanqing lowered her head and smiled, while Yi Hua lightly caressed his stomach. Big brother, if you can't eat it, then don't eat it, seriously. Yi Yuanqing felt that her big brother was becoming more and more interesting, so cute. Yi Hua stopped talking and had a cold look on his face. The one who said that I'm going to finish it is you, and now, the one who said that you are not going to finish it is also you. Just what do you want? Big brother, are you angry at me? Don't, I will give you a massage. Damn, I really can't stand this little sister acting coquettishly, my hairs are all standing up. The soldiers who were standing at the side heard it too, and they looked as if they saw a ghost. General Yi, so it turns out that she is a woman. What are you looking at? Stand up straight. Yi Yuanqing glared at him with her beautiful eyes. scaring the young soldier who was at the side to the point that he started trembling. The General Yi from just now is still the most charming one, but right now, this manly version of General Yi, let's just forget about it. Yi Hua said in a low voice, Yuan Qing, a girl should have the appearance of a girl, if not how are you going to get married in the future? Anyways, I am already promised to go out. Yi Yuan Qing pouted her mouth. That Shan Yu is just a scholar, I really don't like him. Leave this matter to Big Brother. Yi Hua laughed lightly. In any case, she is still a little sister, how can an ordinary man do it? Yi Yuanqing's beautiful eyes flickered. Big Brother, you treat Yuan Qing so well, Yuan Qing will get used to it in the future. At that time, I will have a bad habit of being spoiled by you. Haha. So what about it? No matter how big the matter is, Big Brother will be able to settle it for you. Yi Hua felt great. Needless to say, I really like to clean up after other people's mess. Yi Yuanqing was also very happy, and her footsteps became much more cheerful. Big Brother is the best. A happy smile appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. This feeling is so good. The relationship between brother and sister is pretty good. The two walked into the place that Huang Yun arranged for them, and Huang Yun was already sitting on the main seat. Huang Li had also arrived a long time ago, and he was sitting on the lower left seat. Even Shi Yun's enemy had arrived as well. Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing arrived late, but they did not explain anything and directly sat down. This caused Huang Yun to be very unhappy. Is this your attitude? In another 2 days I, the Emperor, will be able to see your corpses lying on the battlefield. At that time I, the Emperor, will have to rush over and stab your corpses a few times to relieve the hatred in my heart. Since everyone is here, I will be making the final announcement before the battle. Huang Yun said gravely. Seeing that everyone was not speaking, Huang Yun said coldly, Deputy General Huang, you will lead 1 million soldiers to defend the right side of the city. General Yi, you will lead 1 million soldiers to defend the left side of the city, and I will lead 3 million soldiers to defend the last checkpoint. Are you clear? Huang Li suddenly said, Imperial General, what is the difference between this and suicide? Deputy General Huang, if you have any suggestions, you can speak them out. Huang Yun said gravely. Just what is this big prince trying to do? Huang Li said coldly, split up the troops and defend. What if the enemy attacks one side? The other side will not be able to provide support at all. Imperial General, have you thought of such a situation before? I have thought of it before. That is why you all have to defend as much as possible, because we do not know what kind of schemes the enemy will use. That is why you all have to be prepared. Who knows, the two of you might even be able to defend against 5 million soldiers, and that would be a great merit. Huang Yun naturally wouldn't change his order. If the two of them dared to disobey his order, he would chop them into pieces. End of this chapter. Chapter 1036. Just now, Huang Li was fighting for the last chance, but who knew that his 9th brother was determined to kill him? You win! Huang Li shouted in a deep voice. He waved his hand and left. Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing didn't make a sound. They didn't care much about this battle. They were just putting on a show for the emperor. In the past, they were putting on a show for 2 emperors, but now they were putting on a show for 1 emperor. Do the two of you have any objections? Huang Yun asked Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing. Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing had a smile on their lips. This made Huang Yun very unhappy. Things have already reached such a stage, and the two of you are still smiling. You should be begging me to spare your lives. Perhaps this prince will spare your lives. But your arrogance will take your lives. All of you will die. Then, all the military merits will belong to me, and all of you can go to hell. I am the crown prince, the future emperor of the gods. Although Huang Yun's expression was calm, his heart was crazy. This is an illness that was suppressed by Yi Hua. Looking at Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing leave, Huang Yun thought in his heart, I just need to endure for 2 more days. Endure for 2 more days. Yi Hua will be gone, Yi Yuanqing will be gone, and the entire Yi family will be gone. Let's see who else dares to oppose the imperial family. Those who oppose the imperial family can only die. There is no other way. Crown Prince, there is no point in angering them like this. Shi Yun said indifferently. After speaking, he stood up and left. Everyone left, and only Huang Yun was left. All of you will die. All of you will die. Those who dare to anger me, all of them will die. Huang Yun's mutter rang out in the room. It was filled with madness. Yi Hua and Yi Yuanqing didn't walk far before they bumped into Huang Li. Prince Yi, is everything going as planned? Huang Li asked. He was in a bad mood and was hoping for a miracle to happen. Yi Hua said indifferently, everything will go as planned. All right, let's go as planned. God bless us. Huang Li's eyes flashed. Now I can only fight. If I win, I will make a comeback. But if I lose, then I will become a corpse. This is the price. The price of being an emperor. If you don't die, or if I don't live, there is no other choice. But this kind of life investment is worth it, in exchange for better benefits. Seeing that Huang Li had left, Yi Yuanqing asked in a low voice, Big brother, are you really going to kill Huang Li? Yuanqing, who said that I want to kill Huang Li? Yi Hua said indifferently. He seemed to be very profound, and he was like a military advisor that grasped everything in his hands and was able to devise strategies from 1,000 miles away. You said it last time, Yi Yuanqing whispered. Yi Hua laughed lightly. That is because your comprehension ability is too poor. Big brother, you are bullying me, I'm going to ignore you. Yi Yuanqing stomped his feet on the ground, not having the slightest bit of the bearing of a general, causing those seasoned soldiers to be dumbstruck. It seems that only General Ye's brother can control it. This is also a good thing. Otherwise, I'm afraid that General Yi will forget that he is a woman. However, in the camp, the father and son were listening to the latest news. Now, Shanghai was already in chaos. The princes had already started to fight for the throne. It was as if they were going to fight to the death. Jing Tiandi waved his hand and signaled the soldiers to leave first. Martial God, inform our people to create momentum. Jing Tiandi said gravely. Right now, I can only use my identity to suppress them. After all, I am the emperor's blood-related brother. I am the absolute power of Shanghai. What qualifications do these juniors have to fight for the throne? Jing Tiandi had a happy look on his face as he cupped his hands and said, Yes, father. Right now, Jing Tiandi doesn't even want to fight anymore. Right now, his wife's illness is already cured, and the throne is also waiting for him. Right now, going back is the most important thing. However, this still isn't enough. If I really do that, it would be equivalent to standing Yi Hua up. This man isn't someone that I can afford to offend. Although I have a very powerful weapon, it is impossible for me to hit Yi Hua. Therefore, I still have to cooperate with him. This is an opportunity created by someone else. Let's wait for another 2 days. Just wait for another 2 days. Jing Tiandi was very excited. Who said that he didn't want the throne? However, out of consideration for his brotherly relationship, he didn't make a move. However, this time, my own younger brother actually wants to kill me. Since that's the case, as the big brother, I won't be lenient anymore. 2 days later, there will be a good show. As the time got closer and closer, the soldiers on the city wall became more and more perplexed. This is the lack of confidence towards the future, this is the feeling of perplexity. It can be said that the morale of the soldiers who are defending at the front is very low. After all, these soldiers aren't idiots, and they clearly know what the result of using 2 million soldiers to defend against 5 million soldiers would be. Yi Yuanqing, who was standing on the city wall, looked at the prairie in front of him. A few hours later, this prairie will be dyed with a layer of blood. At that time, this prairie will become a sea of blood. Yuanqing, what's wrong? Yi Hua still didn't wear his armor today. Walking to his little sister's side, Yi Hua asked faintly, Big brother, is this really fine? Hundreds of thousands of soldiers will die. At this time, Yi Yuanqing couldn't bear to watch anymore. I clearly know that this is just an act, but the death is still real. Yi Hua stared at the front, and a black had already appeared on the horizon. That is better than all of us dying in battle. Yi Hua said faintly. This is already the best result, using the smallest price to exchange for the lives of more people. Recently, I have been a bit benevolent, but it is a bit annoying. After hearing what Yi Hua said, Yi Yuanqing didn't say anything. Soon after, Yi Yuanqing took a deep breath, turned around, looked at the millions of soldiers behind him, and raised the spear in his hand. Brothers! Today is the day for us to show off our abilities. For ourselves. For the homeland behind us. For freedom. Victory. Yi Yuanqing's voice wasn't very loud, but it carried a sense of firmness, a sense of obsession. The officers and soldiers who were present were all Yi Yuanqing's subordinates, and they understood what Yi Yuanqing meant. For ourselves. For our homeland. For freedom. Victory. For ourselves. For our homeland. For freedom. Victory. For ourselves. For our homeland. For freedom. Victory. Head out of the city and face the enemy. Yi Yuanqing shouted out, and the left city gate was immediately opened. However, the people from Imperial Cloud will definitely be observing from the side. General Yi. What is the meaning of this? General has given an order. Everyone, defend. A person could be seen immediately rushing out and shouting out towards Yi Yuanqing. Yi Yuanqing slowly put on his helmet and said coldly, I don't need you to interfere with what I do. General Yi. You are disobeying a military order. The man shouted out gravely. Without waiting for Yi Yuanqing to speak, Yi Hua asked gravely, What is the crime of disturbing the morale of the army? End of this chapter. Chapter 1037. Death Penalty. Yi Yuanqing said coldly. Yi Yuanqing, how dare you? I'm the Imperial General's man. The man's complexion changed, and he angrily shouted. Yi Hua sneered, Even if you are someone from the heavens will not be able to save you. As soon as he finished speaking, the man's face began to contort as if he was under some kind of pressure. His body also began to swell up. A breath's worth of time. Bang! Beautiful blood blossomed in the air. Yi Yuanqing did not have any objections to his big brother's actions. He admired his big brother's decisiveness and could feel their morale rising. Everyone knew that only by going out of the city would they have a sliver of hope for victory. Let's go! Yi Yuanqing waved her hand, and the million soldiers stepped out of the city gate with a cold, murderous aura. However, the same thing was happening in the right city. Not far away, there were more than 20 Supremes, led by Shi Yun. They all saw this scene. I didn't expect them to actually plan to go out of the city to meet the enemy. Shi Yun murmured. This method was indeed a bit extreme, but this was the only way to create a miracle. It could be considered as cutting off all means of retreat. The other supreme beings watched this scene silently. They did not plan to make a move. They had their own mission, and that was to snatch the unparalleled. As for the life and death of these people, it had nothing to do with them. The news of them leaving the city to meet the enemy quickly reached Huang Yun's ears. What? They went out. Huang Yun was wearing a golden robe and armor, looking majestic. But when he heard this news, his expression still changed. He didn't expect that they would really dare to go out of the city to face the enemy and disobey his orders. Good. Very good. Those who disobeyed military orders would be executed on the spot. Now you finally have an excuse. Thinking of this, Huang Yun's expression gradually became calm. Since he was going to die anyway, it was better this way. Previously, he was afraid that his orders would be met with opposition. Now, there was no need to be afraid at all. Pass down my order. Prepare to receive the enemy's attack. Huang Yun said in a deep voice. Yes, General. Huang Yun stood at the last line of defense, and he had a question in his heart as well. Didn't Father Emperor already make arrangements? Why is Yi Hua still alive? This shouldn't be possible. Yi Hua should be dead by now. Could it be that Father is planning to kill Yi Hua during the war? The possibility of that was quite high. But no matter what, after today, my name, Huang Yun, has once again reverberated throughout the God's realm. Everyone knows that I, Huang Yun, defeated the attack of Demonic City. I have the ability to sit on the position of Crown Prince, and I can also become the Emperor in the future. With such a joyful mood, the corners of Huang Yun's mouth curled into a clever arc as he quietly waited for the grievous news to arrive from the front. At this moment, Huang Yun recalled what his father had told him before he set off for battle. The enemy's commander-in-chief would deliberately let him die under his sword. Imperial Father's arrangements were flawless. Actually, from that moment onwards, Huang Yun understood that this was a scheme arranged by his father. Not only would it be able to get rid of Yi Hua, it would also be able to allow him to smoothly ascend to the throne. His father was still very experienced, and he still had a lot to learn. Huang Yun wasn't worried at all because he knew that the enemy wouldn't fight their way in. In fact, they would even send themselves to die. Thinking about it, he sighed. For the sake of benefits, they could do anything. Huang Yun didn't send this news back to Lingdu because he felt that it was the same. There was no need to tell his father. Meanwhile, within Lingdu's imperial palace, Huang Feidi and Shan Junren were both waiting for the latest battle report. Huang Feidi's expression wasn't very good. Yi Hua has already been gone for 3 days. Logically speaking, he should have disappeared by now, so why is he still here? Just what is this Jackdaw doing? Why hasn't he made a move yet? Could it be that Jackdaw is planning to make a move at the start of the battle? Huang Feidi was of the opinion that Jackdaw was planning to make a move at the start of the battle. Rather than hearing that Jackdaw had obtained a complete victory, Jackdaw might as well tell me that Lord Yi had disappeared, or rather, Lord Yi had died in battle. This day is going to be a very difficult day. At this very moment, 2 million officers and soldiers had already finished gathering. How many were 2 million people? Looking down from the sky, they looked like a black mass of people. Just looking at them was enough to make one's blood boil. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, there were 5 million officers and soldiers, and there were even a few ancient godly beasts circling around in the sky. This caused the 2 million officers and soldiers to gulp down a mouthful of saliva. Those ancient godly beasts were more than capable of breaching the city gate. It is fortunate that they came out to fight, if not, their deaths would have been too unjust. However, not long after, those ancient godly beasts that were flying in the sky retreated. This caused a lot of people to be puzzled. In actuality, this was nothing more than showing off one's strength before the battle. On the other hand, Yi Hua's side did not have any ancient godly beasts supporting them, and thus, their morale was very low. However, to Yi Hua, this was not a problem at all. This was not a problem at all. If your side sends out ancient godly beasts, then my side will send out ancient ferocious beasts. As the main force on my side, I naturally have to show off my strength. Yi Hua was wearing a black robe, and he didn't look like he was here to fight at all. He looked more like he was here to take a stroll. However, Yi Yuanqing and Huang Li, who were walking at the back, were different. Both of them were wearing sturdy armors, especially Huang Li, who wished that he could bring out everything he had to protect his life. However, as a deputy general, he couldn't reveal a fearful expression right now. After all, even Yi Yuanqing, who was beside him, was very calm. It was as if he was taking a stroll. This Lord Yi is the same as well. Why are the two of them able to be so calm? Just why? Could it be that they aren't afraid of death? The 2 million officers and soldiers opened up a path for Yi Hua. Yi Hua stood with his hands behind his back and walked at the front. I feel that this scene is a bit interesting, and it has barely reached the level of the Supreme Overlord. Inside the enemy's camp, Jing Tian and Wuxian both saw Yi Hua. The two's gazes were filled with a peculiar color, and they didn't look like they were looking at enemies at all. They should be looking at allies, right? In Jing Tian's eyes, this man called Yi Hua was just like a miracle. It was as if there was nothing he couldn't do, and he was actually able to sneak into an important place like the Imperial Palace without anyone noticing. One must know. That younger brother of mine isn't weak, he is similarly a Supreme Overlord, and yet, he died just like that. This is a bit hard to accept. In Wuxian's eyes, this ridiculously handsome man is very mysterious. Looking at his age, this man seems to be around the same as me, but looking at other aspects, this man is much more powerful than me. This man is simply too powerful. Yi Hua walked to the front of the 2 million officers and soldiers with his hands behind his back, and that calm expression of his influenced everyone. As long as one looks at that face, one would feel that today's matter was not a big deal at all, and it was just like a child playing house. Yi Hua stared at the 5 million soldiers in front of him. It must be said, the aura that these 5 million soldiers are emitting is very grand, and this kind of feeling is very good. If Yi Zizi and Wei Chong were here, they would definitely compete with each other again. After all, this is what they like. I have some matters to take care of today, so I won't be able to update anymore. End of this chapter. Chapter 1038. It's a pity that I, the Supreme Overlord, don't plan to let them appear, because I, the Supreme Overlord, want to play. After thinking, Yi Hua immediately spread out his arms. This action caused everyone to go into a daze. What does this mean? Is he embracing nature? That doesn't exist. Yihua spread out his arms. He was summoning the ancient beasts. After a while, the entire ground started shaking, as if there was something moving underground at high speed. At this moment, everyone could feel that there seemed to be a behemoth squirming underground, and the ground was tumbling like seawater. Just what is this thing? This sentence was what everyone was wondering. Even Jing Tian and Wuxian were the same. Just what is that man doing? Yi Yuanqing and Huang Li were also very surprised. However, everyone sensed that the ground was moving towards Yihua's direction. The 2 million soldiers subconsciously felt that this was a beast sent by the enemy, and all of them were on guard. A solemn expression appeared on everyone's face. However, what they expected didn't happen. The thing beneath their feet seemed to have moved backwards, as if it was just passing by. Everyone was stupefied. Just what is going on? Don't act recklessly, brother. Just when everyone was puzzled, the mountain behind them started trembling slightly. It was clear that the thing under the ground had drilled into the mountain. Boom, boom, boom. 3 loud sounds shook the world, and a savage aura swept through the entire battlefield. Roar! A tearing roar resounded throughout the world, and even Huang Yun, who was at the back, could hear it. What is going on? Huang Yun immediately stood up and shouted. This subordinate will go and take a look at the situation right now. A soldier behind him said respectfully. Shi Yun looked at the ancient beasts in front of him, and his eyes were filled with astonishment. Were these 3 ancient beasts summoned by Lord Yi? That shouldn't be possible. Lord Yi must have used some sort of method to invite these 3 ancient beasts to help him. After all, this battle concerned life and death, and Lord Yi had no choice but to take out his trump card. Jackdaw, who was hiding at the side, was astonished. This Lord Yi is so powerful now. He actually managed to call over these ancient beasts to help him. Unimaginable. Seems like I made the right choice. If I can't afford to provoke him, then I shouldn't provoke him. If not, the one who dies will be me. Behind the 2 million soldiers, the 3 corpse Kuan beasts glared at everyone. Their gigantic heads were terrifying, and their mouths were filled with razor-sharp teeth that seemed capable of tearing apart anything in the world. A disgusting stench permeated the entire battlefield. That was the stench of the corpse Kuan beast's breath. Everyone felt that if this continued, there was no need to fight anymore. They would all faint from the stench. This smell was like super smelly socks that had been worn for a month without being washed. That kind of feeling was as if life had reached its climax. Shockwave and Shockwave stared blankly at the 3 corpse Kuan beasts. They were ferocious corpse Kuan beasts from the prehistoric era. If it was used for defense, it would be easy to defend against. After all, this corpse Kuan beast was an underground creature. It was extremely nimble. When it opened its mouth, even great desolate divine beasts would have to think twice. This Yihua was actually able to directly call over 3 corpse Kuan. Not simple not simple He definitely has another identity, but what exactly is it? The 5 million soldiers were also dumbfounded. They even had a corpse Kuan. What was the meaning of going out of the city to fight? There was definitely a conspiracy behind this. So, Commander-in-Chief, don't be fooled. We should retreat and think about it first. Right now, Yihua's brows were tightly wrinkled. He seemed to have smelled the stench as well. Why is this stench so serious? It's so disgusting. If I were to allow them to continue staying here, all of these people would faint from the stench. When that time comes, how am I supposed to fight anymore? Just now, there were only these 3 corpse Kuan beasts that were closest to me, and there weren't any other powerful wild beasts. Thus, I could only let them come over and take a look. This deterrent effect was achieved, but the stench was truly terrifying. I, the Supreme Overlord, am almost unable to take it anymore. It was spitting out poisonous smoke. The 3 corpse Kuan beasts could be seen to have received an order. With a trace of unwillingness on their faces, the 3 corpse Kuan beasts roared out once again, expressing their depression. The 3 corpse Kuan beasts shrank back into the mountain, then retreated. Yihua was a bit depressed. I didn't manage to achieve what I had expected. If it was possible, I, the Supreme Overlord, would like to do it again. However, there wasn't much meaning to it anymore. Although I saw that the enemy's soldiers were revealing looks of shock, I still didn't manage to achieve what I had expected. Following the departure of the 3 corpse Kuan beasts, the air became clear again. The 7 million soldiers took in a deep breath. Just now, they were nearly poisoned to death. Seems like if a war were to break out in the future, the best person to mediate would be these corpse Kuan beasts. These corpse Kuan beasts were able to make both sides faint from the poison. At the back. Reporting to General. There are 3 corpse Kuan beasts. The soldier reported with a horrified look in his eyes. His voice was still trembling. It was obvious that he was frightened by the scene just now. Huang Yun's face sank as he questioned in a low voice. Where did this corpse Kuan beast come from? Did you find out? Subordinate doesn't know. Trash. I don't even know where it came from. Huang Yun shouted coldly. He had a bad premonition. He did not expect the corpse Kuan beast to appear. How was this possible? Seems like it is very likely that it was Yi Hua who called them over. That's right. The Yi siblings seemed to have a well-thought-out plan from the very beginning. It seemed like they had planned to do this long ago. By using the corpse Kuan beast to scare the enemy, the other side would definitely be on edge, not daring to make any big moves. This was a bad thing. If they didn't fight today, where would they get the merit points? Where could he find them? Therefore they had to fight today. Right now, Huang Yun's state of mind was a little unstable. If they really repelled 5 million enemies, then all the credit would go to that side. Disobeying orders and obtaining victory was the best order. They could not be allowed to win. Definitely not. Go. Continue to keep an eye on them, and if anything happens, immediately report to me. Huang Yun said gravely. Huang Yun was panicking because this was completely different from what he had planned. Huang Yun was very worried that things would go out of control. Father Emperor had already arranged everything for me, and right now, only the finishing touches are left. If I don't even manage to do this well, my position in Father Emperor's heart would definitely fall. Today, I can only succeed, I can't fail. Right now, Huang Yun was very worried. Right now, Huang Li was feeling very great. Just the corpse Kuan beast that just appeared is more than enough to intimidate the other side. It is even possible for the other side to retreat. After all, in front of this kind of terrifying corpse Kuan beast, everything else is useless. However, all of this was arranged beforehand, and this was also to give Jing Tian an excuse to retreat later on. After all, Jing Tian couldn't bring back the record of losing the battle and inherit the throne. The best excuse was that the other side had used a powerful corpse Kuan beast, and for the safety of the soldiers, Jing Tian could only stop this unnecessary battle. Therefore, all of this was just a requirement of the plot. However, in the eyes of ordinary people, all of this was the truth, and they would never be able to see the truth. End of this chapter. Chapter 1040. What are the people that Father Emperor arranged to do? Why are they still making a move now? When are they going to make a move? This man is actually able to face the situation so calmly, as if everything is within his grasp. Damn it! He is actually smiling. He is definitely mocking me. Huang Yun couldn't care less about Yi Hua. It is impossible to kill Yi Hua right now, but I have to get the position of Crown Prince. Countless people immediately rushed out of the city gate, and the sound of killing shook the sky. However, when the 2 million people who were bravely killing the enemies heard the sound of reinforcements, their morale became even higher. To them, there was no such thing as being used. As long as someone came to rescue them, then that person would be a good brother. However, to Huang Li, such a sound simply made him want to kill someone. This damned Huang Yun, he actually brought people out. He actually came out to fight with me, this shameless thing. He actually did such a despicable thing. Jing Tian saw all of this, and he continued to wait. Just wait a bit more, it will be fine. When Shi Yun saw that Huang Yun brought people out to fight, he sighed lightly. Brainless. It isn't that Huang Yun is brainless, it is that Huang Yun is suppressed by Yi Hua to the point that he can't even breathe, and he is unable to maintain his previous elegance and wisdom. Yi Hua's appearance caused this genius in the past to go crazy, but he hasn't gone crazy yet, he is just about to go crazy. Huang Yun. What is the meaning of this? After killing the enemy in front of him, Huang Li questioned Huang Yun. Huang Yun said with a sunken face, "What am I doing? Killing the enemies. Killing the enemies. You shameless thing. I will report all of this to Father Emperor. Huang Li shouted out angrily. Aren't you afraid of people laughing at you for doing such a thing? You ran out when you saw that you are going to win. Why didn't you come out from the start? Up to you. Huang Yun said faintly. Although he pretended to be calm, he was still very unhappy in his heart. I didn't expect that these 2 million people would be able to defeat the enemy. Right at this moment, the originally bright sky gradually dimmed down. Yi Hua raised his head and looked at the sky. They are finally here. Jing Tian also let out a sigh of relief. They are finally here. Jing Tian stretched out his hand and grabbed towards the sky. Li Fire immediately appeared in Jing Tian's hand. Martial God. Proceed according to the original plan. Yes, Father. Martial God shouted in a deep voice. Today's battle was over. It was time to go back and fight for the throne. When the scene appeared, everyone on the battlefield stopped and looked at the sky. Huang Li and Huang Yun were the same. Their eyes were filled with greed. This was supreme. As long as one possessed supreme, one would be able to become a supreme being, revered by tens of thousands of people. Shi Yun's body could be clearly seen falling down from the sky, and his eyes were filled with shock. What kind of saber energy is this? I have never seen it before. Just a single saber energy is enough to insta-kill an overlord. Boom! Shi Yun's body smashed out a large pit on the ground, and he was on the verge of death. More than 20 overlords died under a single saber energy attack from Jing Tiandi. This caused everyone to be dumbfounded. The soldiers of the deities were all shocked. This is too strong, isn't it? Meanwhile, the soldiers of the demonic city immediately cheered. Their commander killed more than 20 overlords with a single saber energy attack, and there was even one who was on the verge of death. Who is able to break such a record? No one is able to break such a record. Huang Li and Huang Yun were both dumbfounded. This is 2F** King abnormal. What is that weapon in his hand? To actually insta-kill so many overlords, this is impossible. Right now, Yi Yuanqing's face was also filled with shock. This is simply too terrifying. Big brother, what kind of weapon is this? Why is it so powerful? Yi Yuanqing muttered. In the list of known weapons, there has never been a weapon that can insta-kill an overlord. Yi Hua felt the same too. I have a lot of items in my collection, but I don't have any weapons that can insta-kill an overlord. I can only insta-kill an overlord or a supreme overlord with my own strength. Oh, this is a legendary weapon. Yi Hua said lightly. Legendary weapon? I have never heard of it. Yi Yuanqing was confused. Ever since I was born, I have never heard of a legendary weapon. Yi Hua laughed lightly. Then from now onwards you will have heard of it. Yi Yuanqing's face was filled with shock. Legendary weapon. Is it so powerful? This is too heaven-defying. This interlude was shocking, but the Supreme had already started to slowly descend. Now is the best time to snatch it. End of this chapter. Chapter 1042. Jing Tiandi let out a deep breath. The person released from the painting wasn't a treasure, but the thing she was guarding was definitely a treasure. Moreover, from the looks of it, this woman was so powerful, so the item she was guarding shouldn't be an ordinary item. However, he still had to deal with his family matters. Mr. Yi, I will be leaving first. There are still many things waiting to be dealt with. When Jackdaw heard the way Jing Tiandi called him, he was confused. He actually called him Mr.? After all, Mr. has the meaning of teacher. As expected, the two of them were together. Okay, you can go. Yi Hua said indifferently. Okay, if there is anything in the future, just let me know. I will definitely come back. Jing Tiandi said softly. He wanted to tell Yi Hua that if there are any clues, just let him know. After all, I can be of help. When the time comes, I will split some good stuff. The super good stuff will be yours. Yi Hua nodded his head and agreed. After all, Jing Tiandi's Li Fire would still be useful. Jing Tiandi quickly left. Jackdaw said softly, Prince Yi, do I need to do anything? No need. Yi Hua said indifferently and then disappeared. The news today was too shocking. I didn't think that the protectors would actually appear in the god's realm. What a surprise. Jackdaw took a deep breath. How am I going to explain this to the emperor? I don't know at all. However, when Yi Hua went to look for the protectors, something happened outside. Huang Li snatched, unparalleled. After snatching, unparalleled, Huang Li's eyes shone with a golden light as if he was about to become a supreme being. When Huang Yun saw this, he was about to explode from anger. If unparalleled ended up in Huang Li's hands, that would be the same as handing over the position of crown prince, and he would even suppress me in the future. So, I definitely can't give unparalleled to him, no matter what price I have to pay. Huang Li, this is what father wants. You actually snatched what father wants. How dare you? The sun and moon divine breath in Huang Yun's hand shone with a colorful light. It was beautiful, but it also carried a savage aura. Huang Li snorted. Huang Yun, since father wants it, then let me personally hand it to him. I think you want to keep it for yourself. Everyone, listen up. Huang Li is trying to embezzle His Majesty's treasure. Kill him. Huang Yun couldn't care less. He stabbed out with the divine breath of sun and moon. The tip of the sword lit up the entire ground. Royal Cloud. How dare you kill me? Imperial father will not let you off. Huang Li was not someone to be trifled with either. The huge saber in his hand swung out immediately. To think that it could contend against the sun-moon god breath in Huang Yun's hand. Seemed like this huge saber was no ordinary item either. Huang Li. A country has its laws, and a family has its rules. Huang Yun was forced to the point where he had no other choice. If Huang Li doesn't die today, in the future, it will be Huang Yun who kills me. Therefore, if Huang Li doesn't die today, in the future, it will be me who dies. Huang Yun slowly landed on the ground, and looking at Huang Li who was kneeling on the ground, Huang Yun placed the sun and moon divine aura on Huang Li's neck. Huang Li, don't blame your little brother for being ruthless. It was you who blocked my path. Huang Yun, if there's anything, we can talk about it. I know that I was wrong. If you want Wuxiang, I will give it to you. If you want the position of the crown prince, I will give it to you. Whatever you want, I will give it to you. Please spare my life. Huang Li gasped for breath. Right now, the only thing that he could do was to beg for mercy. If not, this fellow will really kill him. Huang Yun revealed a sinister smile. Huang Li, what I want is very simple, and that is your life. If you die, the crown prince will be mine. The throne will be mine too. The entire world will be mine. You shouldn't have fought with me over it. No, listen. Before Huang Li could finish speaking, the world in front of him started spinning, and in the end, he saw that he was kneeling on the ground, and his head was already gone. Very quickly, Huang Li's primordial spirit appeared, and Huang Li fled for his life. However, Huang Yun stretched out his hand and pointed, and a stream of energy directly shot towards Huang Li's primordial spirit. Looking at the corpse on the ground, Huang Yun picked up Wuxiang, then burned the corpse with fire. However, he wasn't in a hurry to leave. Instead, he picked up Huang Li's weapon and cut his own body a few times, causing blood to flow non-stop. In the end, Huang Li's saber was destroyed as well. Just like that, Huang Yun returned with his last breath. However, after Huang Yun left, a figure appeared on the scene. It was Jackdaw. Jackdaw's expression didn't change much. He simply shook his head, seemingly regretful. On the battlefield, Yi Hua also returned. At this time, Huang Yun and Huang Li had yet to return. End of chapter. Chapter 1043. However, Yi Hua looked at Shi Yun who was on the verge of death. This enemy of mine actually had half of his body sliced off by the blade light. He is truly too useless. Why did I die in the hands of a bunch of trash back then? They are truly trash. Everyone thought that this overlord had already died, but right now, everyone was celebrating their victory and didn't even pay attention to what was happening over here. However, Yi Yuanqing who was on the city wall was looking at his big brother confusedly. However, Yi Hua's back was facing Yi Yuanqing, and he knew that Yi Yuanqing was looking at him. Yi Hua came to Shi Yun's side and slowly squatted down. Yi, Prince. Shi Yun let out a weak voice. Yi Hua said lightly, "Don't speak, your injuries are very serious right now." Prince Yi, please bring me to heal my injuries. I will definitely repay you in the future. Shi Yun begged lightly. As an overlord, as long as he still had a single breath left, then nothing would happen to him. Yi Hua sighed lightly. Your request, I cannot agree to it. Why, for what? I am injured. Shi Yun was very confused. I didn't become enemies with Prince Yi. Why isn't Prince Yi willing to help me? It is also good to have an overlord as a friend. Yi Hua suddenly revealed a strange smile, then slowly lowered his head and said, Look at my face, see clearly who I am. Yi Hua's face could be seen instantly turning into a skeleton. Shi Yun looked at the skeleton face in front of him and the red light in that pair of eyes, and he was completely scared silly. The scene from 10 years ago immediately replayed in his mind. Over 100 overlords went to kill the 8 of them. In the end, half of them died, and the other half were injured. This kind of battle situation couldn't even be concealed back then, because it was too embarrassing. But, didn't that skeleton die? Why did it appear? He is Yi Hua. And he is even a skeleton. What is going on? Looking at Shi Yun's frightened and despairing gaze, Yi Hua felt great from head to toe. Are you very curious why I am fine, and who exactly am I? You demon. Who exactly are you? Yi Hua laughed lightly, then changed back to his original appearance. Who am I? I am Yi Hua. I died back then, but I became a skeleton, undead, you should understand, right? After hearing that, Shi Yun's eyes widened. I didn't expect that. Back then, Yi Hua really died. However, they became the undead race, and brought calamity to the common people. And now they actually came back to take revenge. You damned undead. You will be punished by the heavens and will never be able to reincarnate. Yi Hua said faintly, You believe in the heavens, and the heavens believe in me. Look into my eyes and feel the blazing flames of hell. Yi Hua said slowly, and his pair of eyes turned into flames. However, Shi Yun didn't want to look at Yi Hua. Yi Hua smiled and didn't say anything anymore. And Yi Hua has to put on his armor and go through the motions again. I am truly speechless. After a few hours of counting, only 1 million soldiers were left behind to continue guarding the border, and everyone else returned to Lingdu. However, within Lingdu's imperial palace, Huang Feidi's expression was gloomy. He wasn't happy because he had obtained a complete victory, because he knew that everything was just an act. Yi Hua, that fellow, actually didn't die. Furthermore, Yi Yuanqing even brought people with him and won. Huang Yun was heavily injured. Huang Li ran away with unparalleled. Your Majesty, this is worthy of celebration. You managed to repel a powerful enemy. Shan Junren, who was at the side, congratulated Huang Feidi. He still didn't know that this was just an act between emperors. Huang Feidi endured the pain in his chest and smiled. If not, this would be too fake. However, Shan Junren knew that the emperor's mood was definitely not good. After all, for the eldest prince to do such an immoral thing, it would harm the empire. If this matter were to spread out, the imperial family would be humiliated. Your Majesty. At this moment, Jackdaw's figure appeared in front of Huang Feidi. Huang Feidi slightly narrowed his eyes and asked, Why? Why is Yi Hua still alive? Jackdaw had already found an excuse, so he said softly, Your Majesty, Yi Hua is a cunning person, I didn't even have the chance to kill him. If I had openly killed him, a bad situation would have occurred. Trash. You actually didn't grasp such a good opportunity. You are actually afraid. What are you afraid of? Huang Feidi cursed at Jackdaw, and his saliva even sprayed onto Jackdaw's face. End of this chapter. Chapter 1044. Jackdaw lowered his head and said nothing. However, who knew what kind of grievance he was feeling in his heart? A supreme being was actually being scolded like this. Even if it were two supreme utmost beings, they wouldn't spit at each other in such a manner. However, the reason why Huang Feidi dared to do so was mainly because he didn't know how to vent his anger. Shan Junren broke out in a cold sweat. Jackdaw is a supreme being. Your Majesty, you have to watch your words. If he gets angry, we're all screwed. After a long time, Huang Feidi slowly calmed down and asked, What exactly is going on with the Huang calendar? Jackdaw calmly said, Huang Li stole Peerless, injured Huang Yun, and fled. Huang Feidi appeared to be in disbelief after he heard this. But when he thought that it was supreme, and could indeed make people lose their rationality, his eldest son actually ran away. How embarrassing. Also, this time, Shanghai had actually gone back on their word. He actually stood her up. Don't even think about this empress acting with you in the future. Your Majesty, the troops are preparing to enter the city. Your Majesty should be preparing to welcome them. Shan Junren said respectfully. Huang Feidi smashed the teacup, snorted coldly, and walked out of the study. The two glanced at each other. Shan Junren hurried to catch up, while Jackdaw's lips curled into a sinister smile. He disappeared. Outside Lingdu City, all the soldiers had gathered and were tidying themselves up. After all, they were going to walk around the city and enter the palace to be praised by the emperor. Yuan Qing, you are today's main character. Yi Hua said with a slight smile. Right now, both Huang Li and Huang Yun were not here, which meant that only his sister, who was a general, was left. Big brother, don't laugh at me. I didn't do anything at all. It's all because of you. Yi Yuanqing smiled gently. His big brother was so humble and kind now. He was so much better than before. He had almost forgotten what his big brother was like in the past. Yi Hua patted onto Yi Yuanqing's shoulder, then mounted onto the warhorse. He didn't walk towards the city gate, and instead, he let Yi Yuanqing walk at the front. In the future, if Yi Yuanqing wants to live here, he will need resources and reputation. He still had to go back. Yi Yuanqing knew that his big brother had a bitter heart, so he did not say anything and waved his hand. Millions of people began flooding into the city, and Yi Yuanqing, who was walking at the very front, was indeed very impressive. This kind of image was also deeply engraved into the hearts of the people. With a smile on his face, Yi Hua silently followed behind Yi Yuanqing. At this moment, at the entrance of the Qian residence, Qian Yi and Qian Yuqing also came out to congratulate the procession. After all, even the emperor wanted it, let alone others. This was also the rule of staying here. It was a pity that Huang Yun poked him dizzy and lost the best chance to raise his reputation. How sad. Looking at Yi Hua's figure, Qian Yuqing's heart was finally at ease. The heavens are truly blessing Yi Hua, not letting anything happen to him, and he is able to safely return to the city. Yi Hua also took a glance at Qian Yuqing, and the latter shrunk back, seemingly a little afraid of Yi Hua's gaze. As the group walked by, Qian Yi said in a low voice, Yuqing, Huang Li ran away this time, so the position of crown prince will definitely belong to Huang Yun. In the future, you will be the crown prince's concubine. Pay attention to your image and don't do what you did just now again. Qian Yuqing understood her father's meaning. She acted like a little girl just now. As the crown prince's concubine, she shouldn't act like this. Why didn't that damned Huang Yun just die? If Huang Yun died, then I wouldn't have to marry Huang Yun anymore. At that time, I would be able to be together with Yi Hua openly. How great would that be? However, I heard that Huang Yun was only injured. Qian Yuqing wished that she could go over right now and stab Huang Yun a few more times, causing Huang Yun to die completely. At the entrance of Yi family's house, Yi Shan brought along everyone and stood at the entrance. Of course, there was also Lu Jing, Daji, and the others. When Yi Shan saw his daughter riding on a warhorse and slowly walking over, tears flowed down from his old face. This is a happy occasion for Yi family. My daughter has brought me face. However, when he saw Yi Hua who was at the back, Yi Shan's expression couldn't help but darken. This jinx. I hope that he doesn't implicate my daughter. When Lu Jing saw that her son had returned, she let out a heavy sigh of relief. This time, Yi Hua did not disappoint me. Yi Juetian looked at his big brother and revealed out a joyous smile. Just how am I supposed to learn big brother's posture? I am unable to learn it at all. Yi Juetian sneaked a glance at Daji who was supporting his mother. There was no progress at all during these few days. Daji is not interested in me at all. Thus, I can only come to a conclusion. This Daji doesn't like men. If not, how could she not like me? Yi Yuanqing naturally saw his father and mother as well as his little brothers, and he sighed in his heart. Thinking back to back then, I also stood among the crowd and looked at Big Brother riding on a warhorse. At that time, I made up my mind that I want to be like Big Brother and obtain such an achievement. And today my dream has come true. However, this dream was also given to me by Big Brother. Big brother is truly a good person. In my life, to have such a big brother is my good fortune that I have cultivated for several lifetimes. Yi Hua didn't even look at his biological father and nodded his head towards his mother. Lu Jing also revealed out a gentle smile. She felt that the current Yi Hua could be considered to be sensible, and she felt rather gratified in her heart. Only such a Yi Hua can give others a sense of security. The group moved forward again, and very soon, they arrived at Shan family. Shan Yu stood among the members of the three families, and his expression was very strange. Looking at the surrounding people, they were all congratulating me for marrying a female general and bringing honor to my ancestors in the future. However, behind my back they said that in the future, I will look like I was beaten up by a woman, and this General Yi will be able to kill me with a single punch. Shan Yu was very gloomy. Having a fiancé like Yi Yuanqing is indeed a great honor, but I really don't like her. Whoever likes a tomboy like her will be unlucky. Yi Yuanqing immediately looked towards Shan Yu. This fiancé that the emperor gave to him. He actually didn't even take a look at me. Hee hee. Yi Yuanqing slightly raised her chin. If I am really going to marry over here in the future, I will first let these people know that I, Yi Yuanqing, am not someone to be trifled with. Yi Hua looked at his little sister's expression. What an adorable little fellow. Gradually, the group walked into the palace. Right now, Yi Hua had a question in his heart. Isn't it said that there are 3 big families in Lingdu? Other than Chen family and Shan family, who else is there? I didn't even see them coming out. I will ask Yi Yuanqing later. Huang Feidi looked at Yi family siblings who were gradually walking over, and his chest was about to explode from anger. Both of my sons are not here, and today's limelight has been completely snatched away by them. Truly hateful. Yi Hua, just you wait for this emperor. In a few days, I will be marrying Qian Yuqing into the royal family. I don't believe that you don't have any feelings for Qian Yuqing. Let's see how you are going to endure when that time comes. As long as you dare to make a move, when the time comes, you will be charged with a crime of regicide and your head will be directly chopped off. How satisfying would that be? Right now, Huang Feidi revealed out a smile. Soon after, he opened up his arms and shouted, "Long live Lingdu!" End of this chapter. Chapter 1045. Long live Spirit Capital. Long live your Majesty. Long live Spirit Capital. Long live your Majesty. Long live Spirit Capital. Long live your Majesty. The cheers of 1,000,000 people could be heard throughout the entire Spirit Capital. The morale of the entire Spirit Capital instantly soared, and even the residents wanted to go to the battlefield. It was too hot-blooded. General Yi. This time, it was a meritorious service to defend Shanghai. Bestow upon him the title of Valiant General. Spirit grade, 5 jars of Spirit Spring. There was a difference between a general and a general. The only difference was the word, big. Thank you, Your Majesty. Of course, Yi Yuanqing knew that as long as he married, all these titles would be gone. What great general. It was just a nice way to put it. Prince Yi, you've done a great service this time. Huang Feidi shouted with a smile. However, his tone didn't sound like he was celebrating at all. Instead, it sounded like he was gnashing his teeth, as if he couldn't wait to kill the other party. Yi Hua said faintly, "This can't be considered as a meritorious deed, it's just a small matter." Hearing what Yi Hua said, all of the officers and soldiers were stupefied. These are all small matters, then what is considered as a big matter? My God! There was a smile on Huang Feidi's face, but he was thinking in his heart, that's what you get for acting tough. Who asked you to be so arrogant? Prince Yi, whatever reward you want, this emperor will satisfy you. Is your Majesty speaking the truth? Yi Hua looked towards Huang Feidi. With just a single glance, Huang Feidi felt that he was going to fall into Yi Hua's trap. At that time, it would be hard for Huang Feidi to back down. Huang Feidi smiled and said, Prince Ye's contribution cannot go unnoticed. I have to think about it carefully. All the soldiers will be rewarded. Congratulations again. After speaking, Huang Feidi turned around and left. Farewell, Your Majesty. Everyone respectfully bid farewell to Yi Hua, and only Yi Hua stood there without moving. This caused Huang Feidi to feel very gloomy. If not for the past, Then right now, Yi Hua would have been able to make Yi Hua kneel down to him. Big brother, I'll go check the soldiers first, Yi Yuanqing said softly. Okay, then big brother will go back first. Yi Yuanqing nodded and began to count the items. Meanwhile, Yi Hua had also changed into a set of black clothes. Wearing the black armor was not comfortable at all. Now go back and see your mother. However, at this time, Huang Feidi had rushed to Huang Yun's bedchamber, and the imperial physician was treating him. Huang Feidi walked closer to take a look. The knife wound was so deep that the bone could be seen. Wasn't this caused by Huang Li's weapon? There were several wounds like this on his body, and his abdomen was pierced. When did Huang Li become so powerful? Even I don't know. Chapter 1046. Mother, after a period of time, I will bring you out to play. Yi Hua had already decided that after he finished dealing with the matters here, he would bring his mother out. It was impossible for him to stay here. It was too dangerous. Lu Jing nodded her head, expressing that she would listen to her son's words. She also wanted to go out and see the world. I seem to have spent my entire life in this courtyard, and I haven't really gone out. Seeing that his mother agreed to it, Yi Hua became slightly more at ease. Soon after, he called Yi Juetian over to take a walk with him, wanting to ask him about the situation. Big brother, what's wrong? I originally wanted to ask you. Didn't you say that there are 3 big families in Lingdu? Why hasn't the last family appeared yet? Yi Juetian pursed his lips and said, Big brother, the last family is actually not in Lingdu. Where is it then? Yi Hua asked curiously. I don't know either, they only appear once every year, and they are quite mysterious. It seems that even the emperor respects them a lot. However, I only heard about this from others. Yi Juetian's words made Yi Hua curious once again. I, the Supreme Overlord, like mysterious things. Because I, the Supreme Overlord, like mysterious things. No matter how mysterious you are, I will be able to cure you. Do you want to give it a try? There will be a discount for the top 3. You should at least know what their surname is, right? Yi Hua shook his head. This little brother of mine really doesn't know anything. Yi Juetian felt very embarrassed. This big brother is asking me, yet I seem to not know anything at all, making me seem very useless. They are very mysterious. Although they are one of the 3 big families, other people don't care about this title at all. As for their surname, I have only heard about it before. It seems to be Dong Huang, but I'm not sure. Yi Juetian lowered his head and said. From time to time, he would sneak a glance at his big brother, fearing that his big brother would fly into a rage. However, Yi Hua did not fly into a rage. Dong Huang? The same surname as my empress. This is a bit interesting. Back then, I heard that the Dong Huang family intentionally let go of the Dong Huang family. If that is the case, what is the meaning of this Dong Huang family? F*CKme. Things have become dramatic. If the 2 Dong Huangs could be connected together, then there would definitely be an old drama of family hatred involved in this. As the Empress man, there was nothing wrong with avenging his wife, right? There should be nothing wrong with killing some people, and then inexplicably adding some crimes to it. There should be nothing wrong with exterminating the entire clan, right? This is a bit interesting. Then, when is this Dong Huang coming back? Yi Hua asked curiously. I heard that they came last month, but it's just hearsay. We basically don't know about their arrival. We only know from the little eunuchs in the palace, but we can't be sure if it's true or not. After hearing that, Yi Hua was a bit disappointed. I have only just come over, and the next time I come over, I will have to wait for around a year. Isn't this too long? Big brother, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's talk about how we are going to deal with the emperor. This time, the emperor will definitely not let this go. Yi Juetian was a bit anxious, but if Yi Yuanqing was here, he definitely wouldn't be anxious. His big brother was now a brave and intelligent person, and he was even more powerful than before. I am just waiting for him to use his final move. That day, it will definitely be very exciting. Yi Hua revealed out a mysterious smile, and this made Yi Juetian's appetite very much. Big brother, do you have a plan? Hurry up and tell your brother. Yi Hua knocked onto Yi Juetian's forehead. You can slowly think about it by yourself, I am going back to my room to rest for a bit. Oh, I'll call you when it's time to eat. An. Yi Hua replied lightly, then returned to his room. After changing his clothes, Yi Hua laid on his bed and began thinking about the problem. The feeling of thinking about the problem is rather good. In the past, I basically never thought about the problem, and I would just start killing the moment I get into a disagreement with the other party. No matter what kind of schemes the other party has, that is not the case now. Even if it is just killing the other party, there is still a lot of knowledge involved in it. To use a sentence to describe it, killing is also a kind of art, and I am currently developing towards this direction. While thinking about it, Yi Hua fell asleep. Inside his dream, Yi Hua dreamt of his sister-in-law. This little lass is actually tempting me. She is truly tired of living. It has already been many days since I last vented my lust. Today, I will have to trouble you, Tong. However, Yi Hua felt that the feeling of his sister-in-law's skin was a bit different today. Her skin is very tight, as if she is very nervous. Even her lips are trembling, and this tender moan doesn't seem to be coming from his sister-in-law. What the hell? I am in the god's realm, and his sister-in-law went out to play. How could she possibly go to bed with him? Then who is this woman? Yi Hua suddenly opened his eyes, and a face that was so beautiful that it could suffocate a person appeared in front of him. Isn't this Chen Yuqing? Right now, Chen Yuqing's beautiful face was completely red. Just now she wanted to come over to take a look at Yi Hua, but she discovered that Yi Hua had fallen asleep, thus she didn't disturb Yi Hua. However, not knowing why, Yi Hua suddenly hugged onto me, then randomly touched onto my body, and even kissed me and touched onto that place of mine. So embarrassing. Looking at the person that was below him, the top half of the dress was torn off by me, and the spotlessly white and flawless skin was exposed to the air. The skin carried a faint fragrance, and the fragrance was very nice. Meanwhile, Chen Yuqing's appearance that seemed like she was allowing Yi Hua to do whatever he wanted, especially when she was biting onto her lips, it was simply extremely charming. Just like how if you don't dare to do something bad right now, then you would be worse than a beast. Miss Chen, please conduct yourself with dignity, Yi Hua said gravely. Chen Yuqing went into a daze. To actually tell me to conduct myself with dignity. Just now, it was clearly you who made the first move. Prince Yi, I have already touched and kissed. It is not appropriate for you to say such words, right? Chen Yuqing said indignantly. Just now, Yi Hua took advantage of me like that, and then said such sarcastic words. This is truly infuriating. Yi Hua said with a deadpan expression. If the crown princess didn't climb onto my bed, why would I have made the first move? Chen Yuqing, I have never seen someone who lies with his eyes wide open like this. Then, Prince Yi, is it exciting to have a clandestine love affair with the crown princess? Chen Yuqing had a temper too. You keep calling me crown princess. Don't you know that this is making me very sad? You clearly know that my heart is with you. And you are even provoking me like this. Yi Hua slightly narrowed his eyes. Crown princess, what are you trying to do? Prince Yi, if I were to shout out right now, I am afraid that everyone would know that Prince Yi is doting on the crown princess. By then, Prince Yi would probably not be able to continue living in spiritual capital anymore, right? Chen Yuqing said with a threatening tone. Yi Hua changed his tone and said coldly, You are threatening me. That's right. I am threatening you. I know that you have a lot of plans, but as long as I shout out, your plans will all be ruined. Yi Hua took in a deep breath and said coldly, You are already not the first woman who dared to threaten me. The women who threatened me were all killed by me, and I have *ked them until their souls left their bodies. Yes. Chen Yuqing wasn't afraid at all. Her pair of beautiful eyes stared fixedly at Yi Hua. However, a layer of mist gushed out from her beautiful eyes. End of this chapter. He decided that no matter what his mother was going to say later on, he would remain silent and not say anything. Lu Jing looked at her son's gloomy look and laughed lightly. Yi Hua, the reason why mother called you over is not to force you to do anything. Yi Juetian and Yi Yuanqing were a bit puzzled. Right now, only you are able to force Big Brother to do something. Upon hearing what his mother said, Yi Hua let out a breath of relief. I, the Supreme Overlord, hate being forced to do things by others the most. Yi Hua, you can decide for yourself about your feelings. However, I want to tell you that if you miss this opportunity, you won't get another one. Make a good decision. No matter what, you have to ensure Yuqing's safety. Do you understand? Lu Jing said lightly. She did not force Yihua to do anything. She just wanted Yihua to protect Chen Yuqing's life. Towards such a simple request, Yihua readily agreed to it. Lu Jing was very satisfied and did not say anything else. Yi Yuanqing, who was standing at the side, felt that there was a hidden meaning behind Aunt Li's words. It seems like Big Brother has been tricked, but I can't feel what's wrong. They had won the war, and now it was time for Huang Yun and Chen Yuqing's wedding. The entire spirit capital was immersed in a sea of joy. Every household hung red lanterns to celebrate, making it seem like the new year. In the imperial palace, there were also lanterns and streamers, preparing for the future crown prince's wedding. This might be an unprecedented grand wedding. Huang Yun was very excited and wished that time would pass faster. At that time, being able to sleep with Yihua's woman would be a kind of achievement. Revenge. This is too great. Thinking about the scene of him sleeping with Chen Yuqing, Huang Yun became extremely excited. However, right now he still had to do something big. And that was to absorb the Supreme. To ensure his safety, Huang Yun secretly left Spirit Capital and ran to a place where there was no one around to absorb the Supreme. At that time, I will definitely make Yihua cry. End of this chapter. Those who didn't know better would think that it was just an ordinary horse. However, this wasn't the case. This was a primordial divine beast, Rainbow Tai. This was the most docile prehistoric divine beast. This horse would be used during imperial weddings as a good omen. Huang Yun looked at the entrance of the Chen Manor. These past few days had felt like years. After waiting for so long, this day had finally arrived. Today was the day of the wedding. He would be able to sleep with the most beautiful woman in the deity's realm, Yihua. How would you feel? I really want to capture you and place you next to me. I want you to personally see your woman enjoying herself under me. That should be very exciting, right? With such emotions, Huang Yun's expression became a little strange. The people standing around were also discussing in low voices. I really hope that Prince Yi can stand out. I will definitely support him. That's right. I also support Prince Yi to come and snatch the bride. That's right, I heard that in the war this time, the 9th prince was defending at the very end, sending Prince Yi to his death. In the end, he even ran out to snatch the credit. I also heard about this matter. I don't know if it is true or false. You guys still don't know. One of my cousins saw it with his own eyes. Sigh, why would the most beautiful woman in our deity's realm marry this kind of man? What a pity. What can we do about it? He is the imperial family. Although the voices of the surrounding people were very soft, Huang Yun still heard it. His originally strange expression became even more distorted. If not for today being a joyous day, I would have captured all of these people and beheaded them. They actually dare to gossip behind my back. After I ascend to the throne, as long as they dare to gossip about me, I will burn them all to death. A bunch of unruly commoners. At the entrance of the Chen family, Chen Yi finally appeared with Chen Yuqing on her back. This made Huang Yun's mood slightly better. I finally came out. When the surrounding people saw that Chen Yuqing had come out, they all sighed. She has been married twice. And in the end, she actually received such an ending. As a member of the imperial family, Huang Yun did not get down from the horse. Chen Yi carried Chen Yuqing on her back and arrived at the wedding carriage at the back. The carriage was huge. A total of 50 robust men were carrying the carriage, and red muslin was scattered all over the place. Chen Yi placed her daughter on the seat and said lightly, "Yuqing, don't worry." Chen Yuqing did not say anything and nodded her head. Chen Yi took one last look at her daughter, then got down from the wedding carriage. Reluctance could be seen in her eyes. After sending off my daughter twice, I hope that I will be able to successfully send off my daughter this time. The procession did not leave in a hurry, and they were waiting for the auspicious time. After a long time, the auspicious time has arrived. Dong dong dong. The sound of gongs and drums suddenly rang out, and the sound immediately resounded throughout the entire spiritual capital, telling everyone that the most beautiful woman in the entire deity realm was going to marry into the imperial family. Meanwhile, inside the imperial palace, the procedures for the wedding had all been arranged. The imperial family's wedding was held outside of the imperial palace, and the person who was sitting on the platform was naturally Huang Feidi. Yi Hua's figure was also at the right side of Huang Feidi. The person who was sitting on the right side of Yi Hua was naturally Shan Junren, the prime minister. Yi Shan and Yi Yuanqing were both sitting on the official seats. However, everyone felt that the atmosphere was different, and they felt that something big was going to happen today. Everyone was guessing whether or not Prince Yi would kidnap the bride, and if the bride was kidnapped, the emperor would have an excuse to do so. Yi Shan was also worried about this. If this unfilial son were to kidnap the bride, Yi family would be finished as well. Although his daughter was already a great general, this kind of position was practically non-existent. When the time comes for her to get married, everything would be gone. Right now, Shan Junren was also very worried whether or not Prince Yi, who was beside him, would revolt later on. One must know that the emperor had already arranged everything. As long as Yi Hua dared to say a word of no, countless people would rush out from all directions, and this Prince Yi could be considered to have reached his limit. Today, Huang Feidi's gloomy expression was completely swept away, and his face was brimming with joy. Looking at Yi Hua's cold face, Huang Feidi felt that Yi Hua was forcefully putting on an act. When your woman is going to get married, I don't believe that you will be able to endure it. Yi Hua sat quietly, completely not taking this matter to heart. Instead, he was thinking about that guardian. Of course, there was also that Dong Huang's surname. I thought that the guardian with the surname Dong Huang would appear for the imperial family's wedding today. But in the end, I was a little disappointed. The guardian didn't even come. End of this chapter. Huang Yun was also dumbfounded. Just what were the people by his father's side doing? Are you planning to betray imperial father? What benefits did that Yi Hua give you that you actually chose to betray him? What benefits did I give you? His true body had given Jackdaw a chance to live. Wasn't this an enormous benefit? It was more direct than any treasure. What are you doing? Huang Feidi questioned coldly. After calming down, Huang Feidi finally understood why Yi Hua called out Jackdaw. He wanted her to admit it. Jackdaw was one of his people. If he just pulled Jackdaw out, he could completely deny that he was Jackdaw. After all, Jackdaw had never been seen before. Yi Hua, you're really ruthless. You even instigated the people by my side to betray me. Your Majesty, I'm just doing what I should, Jackdaw said in a low voice. He had already made his decision. Quickly stop for me. I will give you whatever you want. Don't you want to go out and take a walk? I will allow you. It's too late, Your Majesty. Huang Feidi knew that Jackdaw definitely had solid evidence. Otherwise, Yi Hua wouldn't be so indifferent. All of this had been planned in advance. Yi Hua had probably planned this while he was at the border. In the center, the white clouds gradually dispersed, and the scene finally appeared. When everyone saw the scene, they felt a chill down their spine, especially Huang Yun. His face sunk, and he was filled with shock. The person that his father sent to kill Yi Hua was actually hiding by his side. In the scene, Huang Yun was high up in the sky, and there were no injuries on his body at all. On the other hand, Huang Li's entire body was covered with injuries. It was clear that Huang Li had received a fatal injury. Just this scene alone was enough to prove that Huang Yun's words were all lies. Huang Yun landed in front of Huang Li, placed his sword on Huang Li's neck, and said coldly, Huang Li, don't blame your little brother for being ruthless. You were the one who blocked my path. Huang Yun's words were extremely ironic. Just a moment ago, Huang Yun swore that he was innocent, but in the end, it was all a lie. Right now, Huang Yun's face was pale, and he couldn't focus at all. Everyone listened to Huang Li's pleas. How sorrowful. He wasn't killed by the enemy, but was killed by his half-brother. When everyone heard Huang Yun say that he wanted the position of crown prince, the position of emperor, everyone felt that Huang Yun's ambition had swelled. Even Huang Feidi felt it. Huang Yun's sinister scene also appeared. Without any mercy, he cut off Huang Li's head. This scene was truly shocking. Although everyone knew that the royal family was fighting, this was the first time they saw evidence. It was truly frightening. For the position of crown prince, for the position of emperor, he was truly unscrupulous. Next, everyone witnessed how ruthless Huang Yun was towards himself. Chapter 1054. It is normal for this woman to think of me. It is normal for all the women in the world to think of me. After all, I am outstanding, and no one can compare to me. The officials watched as Huang Yun prepared to kill Qian Yuqing, and the emperor didn't care. He didn't even care about Prince Yi. What is going on? Yi Hua! Huang Yun roared. Yi Hua's eyes floated towards Huang Yun, and with a look of contempt he said, "What are you calling this prince for? Today, I will let you see your woman die here." Huang Yun had a ferocious expression on his face. Veins bulged on his forehead. He had lost his usual recuperation, and now he looked like a butcher, a mindless butcher. Yi Hua said faintly, "She is not my woman." "Pretending. You are pretending. Isn't everything you've done today for her?" Huang Yun roared angrily. His voice was a little hoarse. Yi Hua flicked the ash off his cigarette. This action of disdain almost made Huang Yun bleed. "With your strength, it doesn't seem to be enough to kill her," Yi Hua said faintly. "You are mocking me for not having strength. This damned Yi Hua. I am a supreme overlord now. Do you know what a supreme overlord is? I can kill you with a finger." Huang Yun roared. Following this sentence, the entire place became silent. Huang Yun admitted it. The 9th prince is already a supreme overlord. Even so, he will lose the throne. However, he is already a supreme overlord, so why would he care about the throne? He will still be respected by everyone. After all, his strength is right there. Just like what Huang Yun said, he can kill him with a finger. "Then what do you want?" Yi Hua asked curiously. "Kneel in front of me and say that I am the strongest." Huang Yun roared. It seems like Yi Hua is a huge shadow in Huang Yun's heart. He wants Yi Hua to admit that he, Huang Yun, is the strongest. Yi Hua said faintly, "You are a spicy chicken." Huang Feidi clenched his teeth. "Calling my son a spicy chicken in front of me is the same as calling me a spicy chicken. But what can I do now? I have lost this time, and there is nothing I can do now." The only thing he could do now was to protect the face of the royal family. "Huang Yun, hurry up and leave after killing them. You don't have much time left." Huang Yun's hands were trembling. Even at this point in time, he was still calling him a piece of trash. "I want to kill Qian Yuqing." "Go ahead and kill them," Yi Hua said faintly. "You!" Towards Yi Hua's attitude, Huang Yun was already on the verge of collapsing. Shouldn't Yi Hua be coming over to beg me? Even Qian Yuqing, who was beside him, stopped talking. "What are you two doing? Say something. Say that you don't want to die. The more tragic, the better. Hurry up and say it. Bastard. I want to hear your pitiful words. Go die." The crazed Huang Yun moved. Everyone was stupefied. Huang Yun really killed him. Huang Yun's sword stabbed into Qian Yuqing's abdomen again and again. Every stab was filled with deep hatred. The woman he loved the most in the past had betrayed him. He could only end it all with death. Huang Yun didn't even know how many times he had swung his sword. He only stopped when the anger in his heart lessened. However, Huang Yun suddenly felt that something was wrong. Why isn't she bleeding? Huang Yun lifted up Qian Yuqing's red veil, and a smiling face could be seen. It is indeed Qian Yuqing. Qian Yuqing could be seen moving closer to Huang Yun's ear with a smile and said softly, "You can't afford to offend my woman." After hearing this, Huang Yun felt as if he was struck by lightning. That voice just now. Huang Yun looked towards Yi Hua. Meanwhile, Qian Yuqing's figure transformed into a flower and dissipated. That wasn't Qian Yuqing at all. Yi Yuanqing, who was standing at the side, revealed a smile. Just now when he winked at sister-in-law, the real Chen Yuqing was switched. This was naturally one of his big brother's plans. He was afraid that Huang Yun would go crazy and kill sister-in-law. However, Yi Yuanqing felt that why didn't Big Brother personally come and save sister-in-law and let her be touched? Why did Big Brother act so sneakily as if he was embarrassed? I really don't know what Big Brother is thinking. As Chen Yuqing dissipated, only then did everyone realize that the real Chen Yuqing had disappeared. Was the real Chen Yuqing fake from the start, or was she switched halfway through? However, under the eyes of everyone, how did Chen Yuqing manage to switch out the real Chen Yuqing? This Prince Yi sure is terrifying. He can even predict this? Huang Feidi tightly clenched his fists. I won't let today's matter go just like this. Huang Yun, hurry up and run. Don't act recklessly. However, will Huang Yun run? He obviously won't run. Today, either Yi Hua dies, or I, Huang Yun, dies. Yi Hua, I am going to take your dog life. Huang Yun no longer concealed his strength. The sun and moon divine breath in his hand shone brightly, and a terrifying aura immediately engulfed the entire wedding ceremony. The clear sky became densely covered with dark clouds, and rumbling sounds rang out in the sky, seemingly wanting to penetrate through the entire world. Is this the strength of a supreme overlord? Everyone present could feel it. It is indeed very powerful. Most likely, Prince Yi is going to be beaten to death. You want to kill this prince? Yi Hua's voice suddenly rang out beside Huang Yun's ears. Huang Yun turned his head to take a look, and Yi Hua's handsome face was revealed. Yi Hua stretched out his left hand and fiercely slapped towards the back of Huang Yun's neck. Bang! Under this slap, a terrifying cyclone was created, and the entire spiritual capital could feel it. The sky that was densely covered with dark clouds just a moment ago suddenly cleared up, and following Yi Hua's slap, Huang Yun directly descended. He landed precisely in front of Huang Feidi's feet. His intention couldn't be any more obvious. I won't kill your son. Your son, you do it. Looking at Prince Yi who was in the sky, everyone was endlessly shocked. With a slap, Yi Hua slapped the Supreme Overlord down, as if he was slapping a dog. How is this possible? Prince Yi actually has such strength. Huang Feidi finally understood why Jackdaw betrayed him. Between death and betrayal, Jackdaw would definitely choose the latter. This Yi Hua is actually so powerful. My son, you are truly foolish. You should have run just now. In actuality, running is also useless. Today, Huang Yun is being forced to death. There is no other possibility. Yi Shan stared blankly at his eldest son Yi Hua. He completely didn't expect that Yi Hua would actually have such strength to be able to completely suppress the royal family. No wonder Yi Yuanqing would help Yi Hua. He definitely knows something. But I still hate you, this unfilial son. No matter how powerful you are, I am still the same. When Yi Yuanqing saw his big brother slapping the Supreme Overlord down from the sky with a single slap, he couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Big brother is awesome. Jackdaw didn't say anything. In actuality, the current Huang Yun still hasn't become a true Supreme Overlord. He had only just absorbed the Supreme Overlord. If he wanted to stabilize it, it would take 1,000 years. End of this chapter. Chapter 1055. Huang Feidi looked at his son in front of him and his chest heaved up and down. Just now, Yi Hua's attack directly scattered Huang Yun's primordial spirit. How is this possible? It has only been 1,000 years and he actually grew to such an extent. If he was given another few thousand years, what would he become? Yi Hua slowly landed on his seat and said softly, Your Majesty, I have taken down the person who killed my brother. What he meant was, it's all up to you now. Huang Yun didn't die, but he was vomiting blood and staring at Yi Hua. This was hatred that came from the depths of his soul. I will kill you. I will definitely kill you. Huang Yun muttered. There was only one thought in his mind, and that was to kill Yi Hua and throw his soul into the magma of the abyss. Yi Hua said faintly, stubborn. Your Majesty, how should we punish this unfilial son who killed his brother? Jackdaw said faintly, according to the imperial family's laws, he will be executed on the spot. Huang Feidi clenched his fists and looked at the officials. All of them lowered their heads. These people. They want me to kill my son. So vicious. So vicious. Huang Feidi clenched his fists and looked at Yi Hua. Yi Hua noticed Huang Feidi's gaze. This should be a type of pleading, asking me to spare his son this once. After all, only I can save your son right now. But that is impossible. You want to kill me, you want to kill my mother, and you even sent people to capture my woman. I am not a kind person, and the blood on my hands is not something you can imagine. Your Majesty, is it true that a prince will be punished the same as a commoner? Yi Hua said faintly. If you don't kill my son today, I will not let this matter rest. Huang Feidi took a deep breath and said, the 9th prince killed his brother, he is extremely vicious, Before Huang Feidi could finish, Huang Yun stood up shakily. His wedding robe was a bit tattered, and his hair was messy. He didn't look like a prince at all. Yi Hua, you want father to kill me. Let me tell you. Impossible. I, Huang Yun, will not let you succeed. After speaking, Huang Yun looked at Huang Feidi and said, Father, I have embarrassed you. Yi Hua, one day I will beat you. You will one day. Just you wait. Huang Yun glared at Yi Hua angrily. In the end, he raised his head and looked towards the blue sky of Lingdu. After taking one last look at the sky that had raised him, he slowly raised his right hand. Bang! An oppressive sound rang out as Huang Yun smacked his own forehead, causing his brain to explode. There was dead silence. The 9th prince had taken his own life. Everyone felt a chill run down their spine. This was the first time they had seen someone force a member of the royal family to commit suicide. Huang Feidi watched as Huang Yun died in front of him. This was his most beloved son. But today, he was forced to die in front of him. But there was nothing he could do. You will pay for your arrogance one day. This time, this emperor will bet all of his wealth to fight with you. If you don't kill me today, then next time, I will kill you. However, how could Yi Hua not understand the principle of cutting weeds and getting rid of the roots? There were 2 reasons why he didn't kill Huang Feidi. First of all, if he wanted to kill him openly, he was still a little lacking. Secondly, this Huang Feidi could be considered as a relatively good opponent. If he were to die so quickly, wouldn't it be a pity that I don't even have an opponent? So you need to keep it. The main body still gave him 2 choices. One was to enjoy life and continue to be an emperor, while the other was in deep despair. Believe me, next time, you will suffer even more pain, I never lie. Apart from cheating his wife. On the way back to Yi family, Yi Yuanqing kept on calling her sister-in-law left and right. Dong Huang Baiji and Qing Ya's hearts were bursting with joy. Is this Yi Hua's little sister? She looks so cute. Sister-in-law, the 2 of you are so beautiful, the super beautiful kind. Of course, Yi Yuanqing wasn't bootlicking. He was truly sighing in admiration. A woman can actually grow to such an extent, this is too exaggerated. Just what did she eat to grow up? Towards Yi Yuanqing's praise, Qing Ya and Dong Huang Baiji were very happy. The 2 of them took out red packets. After all, it was their first time meeting each other. Yi Yuanqing was a bit confused, not knowing what the red packets were. Yi Hua sat at the side and said faintly, this is a type of blessing, accept it. Yi Yuanqing accepted the red packets happily. Thank you, sister-in-law. In actuality, Qing Ya and Dong Huang Baiji were still very nervous. We are going to meet Yi Hua's mother soon. What should we do? Will Yi Hua's mother hate us? We are so nervous. Looking at how nervous Qing Ya and Dong Huang Baiji were, Yi Hua revealed a light smile. So there is actually something that can scare you to this extent. Sister-in-law, you 2 don't have to be nervous. Aunt Lu is actually very easygoing. Yi Yuanqing felt that the 2 sisters-in-law were pretty good. Both of them were obedient and virtuous. Seems like the type that big brother likes has never changed. Qing Ya pursed her lips and said in a low voice, Really? Of course. Yi Yuanqing covered his mouth and laughed lightly. Sister-in-law Qing Ya is so cute. Why don't I see Qian Yuqing? Dong Huang Baiji asked curiously. Hearing that, Yi Hua said faintly, Why are you mentioning her? Yi Yuanqing became unhappy and said, Big brother sister-in-law is about to commit suicide for you, and you are still saying this? Commit suicide? Qing Ya and Dong Huang Baiji cried out in surprise. That's right, sister-in-law. Sister-in-law is so pitiful. Let me tell you too. How did big brother treat sister-in-law? In the following period of time, Yi Yuan Qing began scolding his big brother.